Hi, cuties. Okay, so I wanted to do a video on a deeper dive into jealousy, how you deal with it when you're a queen and fabulous. There's ways to cope and get this bullshit out of your life. But if you're not a jealous person, okay, who's not jealous? People that go after their dreams, people that get what they want, people that are not victims, don't make excuses and instead create their reality. Like, I don't know, people that spend their life developing themselves and then using their time, talents, and resources to like make their life better, make their loved ones' lives better, make the planet a better place. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, you're not gonna be jealous if you're all that and you're developing yourself in every which way that you want to. But so it can be hard. So if you're not a jealous person because you are either the woman you want to be or you're becoming that person, you'll go through 3 phases, which is what I went through, which is like the first phase for like all of my life was a total denial. I did not believe that anyone was jealous of me for basically all of my life. And if I ever even kind of mentioned it or someone else kind of mentioned it, the people around would be like, "Oh, nobody's jealous of you." There's nothing about you to be jealous of. I'm paraphrasing. They didn't say it like that, but that was essentially what they were saying. Like, girl, you're not pretty enough for people to be jealous of you. You're not smart enough. You're not talented enough. Like, and again, they didn't say it like that, but that was because for most of my life, not all, I've had many wonderful friends in my life that actually really did support me. Why? Because they were bad bitches themselves. Duh. Like, they were great themselves. People that are great aren't jealous. But anyway, the people around me that were not so great, they were whatever, they just weren't being all they could be, I shall say, would do that stuff like that. Whenever I would like try to confront this monster in my life, they'd be like, nobody's jealous of you. Okay. So you will go through this phase where you do not believe it. You don't believe that like people are watching you and like watching your social media. You don't, it's like, I know they've been following me for years. They've never liked anything and put a nice comment. They can't be jealous. They're not watching me. No way, because you're not watching anyone. I don't watch anyone except for maybe like Kim Kardashian and like a couple of my favorite celebs. I'll admit I watch them. Going on. That's it. I have a handful of celebrities that I will admit that I watch. So, but you just don't believe that like people in your regular life, like your friends are watching you and like dissecting you and talking about you when you're not in the room to clarify or defend yourself. You're just like, no way. You will be in denial. Then one day things will come out that will make you have to face this. That people in your actual life, or maybe people following you on social media, maybe you're somewhat of a little mini celebrity in your world. I don't know, that people are jealous. It'll come out. People show their jealousy by being mean to you. That's not just being mean to you, criticizing you, trying to convince you that you're not all that, putting you in a certain light that isn't fair, like misinterpreting you, twisting your words, like making you out to be a bad person, like giving you intentions you never had, like is like, girl, I swear I was not hating on your man. Like, I'm not even attracted to him. I'm not attracted to him. He would not stand a chance with me, I swear. But they think the way you're dressing is somehow to get like attention from their man or something. It's like, so things get twisted and people are critical and people are mean. If a woman is really malicious or a man is really malicious, they'll actually go after you, whether that be over the internet, whether that be through your job. I've heard horror stories about people that I know that create content online about like, people that hated them and were jealous of them, like finding out where they worked and calling into their job, or people spreading like malicious gossip or slander about you. Like, anyway, the good news to all of that, I will say, is you simply affirm an intent. You just simply say, I affirm an intent. I am divinely protected and I am divinely appointed. And no hater, no hatred, no jealousy, and no envy can prevail against me. Any of that comes out of anyone else is ricocheted back onto them in the form of karma. I affirm an intent, like I am divinely protected and nobody can harm me ever. No opinion can harm me. And you have to develop that belief when you're fabulous. You have to be strong in yourself. But so anyway, so that is that you will go through a phase, that second phase of like facing it, seeing it, probably getting in arguments with people, standing up for yourself, defending yourself. You'll find yourself explaining yourself. Oh my gosh, something I just never do anymore. I never explain myself anymore, but I went through a phase where I explained everything. It's like, I swear, like, I meant to do this, but this, I used to explain and explain to try to get people to understand me and get me and support me until I started realizing these bitches are jealous and envious and hateful. Like you could explain till you're blue in the face and they will find some sort of negative thing to take from it. So I stopped explaining. It's like if people don't get me from the jump and support me and understand like my heart is in the right place and this, that, and the third, like fuck off. But you have to go through this stage two. Once you've done that for a while, how long did that last for me? So the whole life thing was me being in denial. And then the like fighting back, defending myself, trying to like face this lasted a few years. And now I'm in the stage of don't care. So that's final stage is when you don't care. If you sense that someone is jealous and envious of you or competing or comparing with you, which is folly, it's cute. It's almost funny. But if you sense that, you just cut them. That's it. We're done. No more further conversations. Cut access. If they have your number or whatever, just block them and move on because that type of energy is super childish. It's very folly. It's very foolish. And it's like a time suck and a drain suck on your beautiful, gorgeous energy that you could be putting towards a million other things. So you get to a point where you have no tolerance for folly and bullshit, and so you just cut that out, and you know it when you see it, and it is hilarious because people will be jealous of all kinds of weird things. It's just okay. You could just name it and think of it the weirdest fucking things. People can be jealous and hateful and envious and competing and comparing. You're like, girl, I'm not even competing with you. Like, I hardly even noticed you. And they're like in this full out race competing with you. And you're like, huh? You just learn to cut it. No explanations. There's nothing further to discuss. It's like, sweetheart, you need to work on yourself. You need to learn to love yourself. You need to focus on yourself. You can see it too. You can see it coming a mile away when you're around certain people that like sit around and talk bad about other people when they're not there in the room, to defend themselves and explain themselves, which again, I don't do anymore anyway. But like, you can tell there's an energy of the type of people that either, like remain neutral about other people because they're like focused on themselves and in their own lane in a positive way. Or if like other people come up, like they have something positive to say. They're not going to sit there and like slander someone behind their back because they're not jealous of that person. They're not threatened by that person. So you can tell that by like how people are with other people if they have the demonic spirit. Unfortunately, bless their hearts, they've been overtaken by it of jealousy and envy. It's an ugly spirit. It makes you super ugly. Makes you look like a monster over time. So get rid of it if you have it. Repent. I know this sounds like such a like old-fashioned word, but like fucking repent. If you're sitting around, foaming at the mouth with envy, jealousy, competing and comparing, talking bad about other people behind their back, watching them on the internet, again, if they're your favorite celebrity, I can understand. But like other than like your top 3 or 5 favorite celebrities, like what are you doing, girl? Like watching that girl that lives down the street, like she's fucking like Jackie Kennedy. Like get over it. Like it's weird. So people's admiration can move into it often starts with like admiration for you, but it lands on the life of someone that is not mentally well or healthy. I'm telling you, this is a mental illness. It's a demonic possession. It's a mental illness. It's crazy. And the people that are filled with jealousy, envy, competing, and comparing are fucking batshit crazy nuts. So just you get to a point where you're just like, I don't have tolerance for this bullshit. You cut it out, you block it out. And you kind of just, without being paranoid or weird about it, you just go through your life. And if you see signs of it, you're just like, that's just not for me. Like, we're just not going to be tight. That person's not going to be invited into my home. We're just not going to be close like that. And you just set healthy, non-paranoid, but healthy boundaries, expectations, and no's, like lines in the sand for access to you. People talk all the time on the internet about everyone's so jealous of me because I'm pretty, everyone's so jealous of me because I'm skinny, everyone's so jealous of me because I'm pretty and skinny. Girl, I don't think I mean, this could be me in denial. Also, I've always been curvy, and though I am pretty, I've always been kind of a different kind of pretty, if that makes sense. You know what? I'll be honest. I consider myself kind of like a timeless and global beauty, but not really like a trendy beauty, not like necessarily your all American, just a different kind. Anyway, so this is the thing is people talk about this night and day, and this is something you will hear out of the mouths of women that that's like their big card that they play, which is fine. You know, there's many cards you can play in this game called life. It's just an illusion. It's just a game. It's just fun. It's not serious. But there are many cards you can play at different points in your life, at different seasons. You can play the smart girl card, the educated girl card, you know, the fearless bad bitch card, the gorgeous woman card, the you can play a million cards. And there are people that, for whatever reason, I don't maybe that's fun for them and they like it, or I don't know, maybe they don't want to develop other sides of themselves, but they play their pretty girl card and that's the main card they play. So maybe that's what they're experiencing as people being jealous of that. But I find that kind of funny because it's like we live in a time where you could be anything. Like you don't like your nose, you could get plastic surgery to fix it. You want to be skinny, just take Ozempic. I don't recommend that. I have videos on how I think you should gain or lose weight in a natural kind of spiritual way, but whatever, that's for another video. But like you literally could. You could literally start a shot like this month and be skinny within 6 months, like stick ass fucking skinny. Like what else? Like if you don't like your hair color or something, you just dye it. Like like I don't and this is what was so interesting to me was for me to understand through my journey of life that like not everybody wants to play the pretty girl card. Not everybody wants attention from men. A lot of people don't prefer it because when you're pretty, you don't just get attention from like great guys. You get attention from, you know, guys that you're not are not favorable to you too. So it can be annoying and a drag and a drain in some ways. You know, people are like, oh, I have pretty girl privileges. You know, I get free drinks and I get, you know, really nice treatment when I go out and people treat me. A lot of people don't want that. So, you know, whatever. You if you want to be pretty, you could be pretty. If you want to be curvy, you could get implants. If and you weren't, you know, you could do what you wanted to do. I think you could make an argument for maybe people are jealous of people that are naturally pretty because that isn't that easy to be. Like if you kind of came out of the womb genetically pretty cute and you know, like whatever, like your body was kind of like the way you liked it and you know, you were cute with or without makeup and that kind of I think maybe you can make an argument for that of people being kind of jealous over if you were naturally pretty. But like if you're like plastic surgery pretty, like anybody could do that. Even if you don't make a lot of money, like you could be like, I'm gonna save for a whole year. I'm not getting coffees, I'm not going out for drinks. Like I'm gonna save for an entire year and I'm gonna fix my credit and I'm gonna get that plastic surgery. So it's like I really don't think that the pretty girl card is the main reason why people are jealous because it's just A, it's too easy to get for most people. Again, you could fix anything you don't like. And B, like there are a lot of people that don't prefer to be that hot. There's a lot of people that like to walk down the street without five different dudes cackling at you every fucking time. There's a reason why pretty girls dress homeless when they're in public. It's like, can I just walk down the street and get a fucking latte and move on with my life? So I just think it's possible that people could be super seethingly jealous of you because you're pretty. It is possible, but I don't think it's probable. I think it's something probably else. A lot of girls that even do content about that haven't gotten to us. Well, I haven't heard them admit this kind of stuff, which is like vibe and personality. You know, you could see a girl on the internet, like I think her name is Carmelita Fox. She talks a lot about pretty girl jealousy, skinny girl jealousy. But the thing about Carmelita that she's not necessarily putting out there in her videos is like Carmelita's a vibe, okay? She's a fucking vibe. This bitch is confident. This bitch is unapologetic. She's highly intelligent. She's a great communicator. Like Okay, we could all be, jealous of her because she's pretty and skinny, but like I think the odds, she might not even totally register, but probably it wasn't really that. It was, yeah, that was part of it, but it was like this girl, she's very intelligent, she's very talented, very gifted. Like that don't come easy. So what I found in life was that the jealousy thing happened more because of vibe, personality, gifts and talents you have under your sleeve. You guys, the way that I myself am working on my beauty and being a curve model for no other reason than it's fun. I have a spiritual perspective on life that this is all an illusion, a matrix, not real, that we're just here for fun. We're here to be a good person and love and be loved in return and have fun. And that's fucking it. And when I became more spiritually awakened, though I had spent my life being more of an intellectual, I'm whatever, it's like if I say too much, people are going to start hating me. I'm highly educated, all this shit, right? Um, just a very intelligent person, and I spent my life like focused on like spirituality and intelligent endeavors, and educational things that open up my mind. And one day I was like, I'm so glad I did all that. And I wouldn't take it back. And it's fun. And I do it for fun. But it's like not everything. And it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter if I passed or failed my science classes. Like, who fucking cares? Because I'm not going to be a scientist. So I just stopped caring about a lot of shit as I became more mature and more spiritually awakened. And I started to realize like really basic things, like just very basic truths. Like, we're here to have fun. We're here to love and be loved in return. You're here to enjoy your life, use your gifts, your time, your resources to make life better for yourself and for those around you. Like basic truths that like don't take a fucking Einstein genius to do. And so for me, it was like I realized I had spent my life being well developed. I had not neglected really anything in my life. I had paid attention to my looks and my beauty in a way that I feel has caused me to, I think, get prettier with time. I'm definitely more magnetic, alluring, and attractive now than say I was at 21. And I can definitely pull them and like in my romantic relationship in a way that I never could when I was like 18, 21. I could never pull what I could pull now. And so what happened to me was I started to understand that I was addressing all important aspects of my life, my health, my beauty, my intellect, my spirituality, my character, and, listening to my heart and doing what was right to me. I didn't have to answer to anybody else. I didn't have to have your morals and values, but I needed to honor my own. And, you know, so it would kind of, I think it was triggering for people because they would meet me and it was like you really didn't have anything on me. And like I have had people be jealous of me because I was, to be a cute girl or even a pretty girl is one thing, but to be a hot girl and a bad bitch, which I've embodied definitely over the last few years, it was a different side to my beauty that I developed, which I wasn't before. When I was younger, I was kind of average cute, sort of kind of average cute, approachable. I don't know. It was different. But as I got older, I became like, I don't know, just something happened to me. I became like much more in the category of like hot or like gorgeous or something like that. It was different. It was a different category that people were putting me in. And it just killed people to discover, I think, that I was so much more than that because I had spent my entire life developing all important aspects of myself. It's gotten to the point where there is no criticism that will land on me. You can't tell me fucking nothing. Nothing. And I think that's when I experienced people would like make things up about me that weren't true. They would attribute intentions to me that I did not have. They would make me out sometimes to be like a villain in their story in some way. The hot girl thing, like one of the big things people try to do is like pin you with if you're hot, you're promiscuous and you're loose or something like that, or one of the careers that I endeavored in over the last few years was being a bartender. So people have a lot of ideas about like what is a bartender, and like, people think of her as a bad bitch, and people think of her as, I think when you think of a bartender, yeah, you think of like a hot girl and a bad bitch and someone that's like got tattoos and stuff. And there's an element of me that's all of that, but there's also an element of me that like considers my body very sacred, and is has always been a kind of more conservative person with my body and things like that. So people would create things about me, stories about me, stuff that weren't there because I was so fucking fabulous. I was so fucking amazing. I was so well developed. I had never played only the beauty card. That was just like one of like 12 cards I would play. And so you see what I'm saying. So my guess is that the real reason why people are jealous of you is if you're that. Like, yeah, you might be pretty, you might be hot, you might be this, but then like if they dig deeper, they discover you're also intelligent, and you also respect your body, and you also are a good person, and this, that, and the third. So for me, being a well-developed, multifaceted woman, and like what's so fun about it is like, this is for another video, but I don't got no kids. And so it's like the world is my fucking oyster, and I can do whatever I want, and I can take my time in things, and I'm not rushed. And if I feel like spending 3 years doing nothing but, exploring, say, my beauty or something more superficial, I can. And so that can trigger a lot of people too. I think being a mother is a sacred and beautiful thing, and I have a lot of respect and honor for mothers. And I think people should do that if that's what they want to do. But it adds to me being so multifaceted, because I can spend my life dedicated to my art, to growing my character, to building my confidence, to being the kind of beautiful woman that I want to be on the inside and the out. And you become in a space of queeniness where like no one can compete or compare. It's like a joke to you that people even try to do it, and you just ignore it and move on. And eventually they kind of move on too, because from a reality creation perspective, what you give life to and attention to and what you feed, whether positive or negative, it grows. So you learn as a queen, don't feed that shit. So if you see jealous people, don't feed it. Cut them and just ignore them. Laugh at it almost. It's just folly. It's so silly. It's like, okay, you can copy the way I dress, but you can never copy the lifetime of experiences that I've had, good and bad. I've been through my own struggles. I've been through hell, but I always found a way to come through it with so much class and grace. And my favorite thing about myself is that despite all of life, I've continued to be a good person and a kind person. Like that, the kindness in me, I shock myself. Like I'm just like, after how people have treated me and hurt me in my life, like how kind I am. So you just become like untouchable. Like you're untouchable. You can't, no one can compete or compare. To even be jealous of you, it's so foolish and so folly. And you learn as a queen to just X that out. So really all that you're left with when you're really fabulous, you're phenomenal, you're amazing, is the top echelon of life, the top one percenters or whatever of life. A top one percenter in my mind does not necessarily mean you're a billionaire. It doesn't necessarily mean you look like Cindy Crawford, or that you can sing like Adele. A top one percenter to me may have all those qualities, they may not, but there's someone who is well developed, a well developed person, a person with beauty and personality and grace and kindness and toughness, and strength and power and gentleness, and a person that, despite all of life, is, continuing to remain kind and gracious. And just you learn how to not care what people think. You learn how to, because you learn like you can't please them. I used to try to do that. Like, okay, well, maybe if I dull my light a little bit, or I act a little dumber, or I pretend I'm not that talented, or I pretend I'm not as pretty as I am and I can't pull what I can pull. Like, but see, eventually this stuff kind of comes out. So you can dull your light in order to like move amongst the world kind of a little more safely, but it becomes exhausting because you want to just be yourself and be authentic. And authenticity is the most powerful thing you can be in this world. There's nothing more powerful than just being real. When I say being real, I don't mean you have to tell everybody your stories or your traumas, or you don't have to share everything. People don't always deserve to know where you're at and what you're doing. You may still very much have privacy. I myself am a pretty quiet woman these days. I don't really I tend to move in silence, and people think I'm mysterious for that. I don't mean to be. It's just I've learned to be my own best friend. I've learned to kind of move in silence. I've learned to go with the flow of life, and but, you just find, like, with time, like, you don't care what people think because you can't please them either way. Like, if you kinda pretend like you're dumb, that might work for a while around women that or men that get very insecure, or maybe they just haven't done the inner work yet on, like, their own confidence with their own intellect. You can do that, but then eventually, like, someday, something will spill out of you that's like, it's very obvious you're not dumb. You know? You're brilliant, and it just eventually your brilliance pours out. Eventually your beauty pours out. Eventually it just all comes out. So you just end up being in your own lane, in your own zone. You don't care what people think, say, or do. It is important to have positive affirmations. People's hatred and jealousy do nothing to me. It only ricochets back on them. It does nothing to me. I don't, a jealous boss that's trying to like sabotage me at work, she's the one that gets terminated, not me. I am the cornerstone of my reality. I'm the one that always, wins, and everything always works out for me, and everything always works perfect for me. You just kind of find this space in yourself where like you have this healthy detachment from people. You don't expect people anymore to like understand you or support you or this that. But if you find a gem, a top 1%er that themselves is well developed, confident, self-loving, that's really what it takes to not be jealous. Is like I think even the best of humans may have jealousy moments, but I think a mature queen just addresses that. It's like, feeling like a tinge of jealousy or envy or like kind of anger around this person. Like, what is that? And without being cruel or mean to her, without talking bad about her, staying very silent. And just like, oh, you know what? The reality is like, she's a really funny bitch. She's fucking funny. And I've been like suppressing my humor because I don't want to look stupid or I don't want to look embarrassed. You know what? I'm going to let my humor out more. I'm going to use this circumstance as inspiration for me to be more authentically who I am and to share more of myself. And you'll find that, there's just a mature way of handling the natural human emotion that comes up sometimes of jealousy and envy and this and that. But when you handle it and you, again, stay focused on yourself in your own lane, developing all important aspects of you. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. What's important to me may not be important to you. I know a lot of people that it's really important for them to have, a certain type of house with a white picket fence in a certain type of neighborhood. Like that just isn't important to me. Already been there and done that. I've already been there and done that. It's not, I came to find it wasn't the end all and be all for me. Again, not everybody wants to be skinny. There is a shot we could all take to be skinny. There is a reason why not everybody's doing it. It's not that expensive. It isn't. Okay, it's more than just a fear of needles. It's because not so it's important, I think, in your maturity as a queen to understand not everybody wants the same things, and you learn to be like supportive of other people and the different things that are important to them. You expect the people you love to honor those things, and you encourage them to honor themselves in that way. If a tinge of jealousy comes up or envy, you handle it in a mature, kind, and loving way. You will never be unkind to somebody or cruel or hurtful out of jealousy because you're mature and you just know that all that was there for was to serve as inspiration for you of things that you want for yourself that you need to implement. If you're jealous of the car she's driving, it's time for you to manifest a better car, and you see it for what it is while like sending out like good vibes to everyone kind of thing. Um, and you understand that you can't please them. You can, you can live your best life, but people will still see whatever they want to see. And what they see is what they see in themselves. So the last thing I'll say in this video is it is so important to be able to be okay with solitude, aloneness, not having a lot of friends, having zero friends at certain seasons of your life in order to overcome some of this stuff. But when you do decide to have friends or lovers, When you do decide to get closer to certain coworkers or whatever than others, being thoughtful, not paranoid, not going into some weird paranoia, just being thoughtful about it and just being like, this is my opinion. Again, I'm not pushing this on you, but for me, it's like only the best of the best. People that I have an admiration for because they're well developed and they're confident and they love themselves. And when people are confident, well developed, and love themselves, they will treat you good. They will. They will treat the people around them good. You will not see them bashing other people because they're too busy in their own fabulousness. So that's the kind of person that, I recommend being and that I've always strived to be. Those are my thoughts on jealousy. Bye, you guys. Have a good day.